And we're live.
All right. Well, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Mixed Martial Arts, hosted by Marshall Inier. And we are blessed to have the great Alex Volkanovski here and Brandon Lewis. So it's an honor. And Volk, man, you just had an incredible, dominant fight. How are you feeling? Are you recovered from it? And you look like you're feeling great.
Look pretty good, man. I'm feeling great, man. Obviously everything went to plan. Hands are a bit sore, to be quite honest, but hands and feet, but that's all a part of it, man. But yeah, feeling really good. Just keeping busy at the moment, and I was just in New York and LA right now, just doing a bit of a victory tour. So yeah, just soaking it all up, man.
And that's fantastic. You got to be feeling phenomenal after defending the title. And honestly, I mean, Korean Zombie, he's a legend. I'm sure he's a tough opponent, but you really seem to dominate that fight.
Yeah, he is a legend. But as I was saying, leading up to that fight, and all fight week, I was talking about, me just being on another level, and I'm going to separate myself. I'm separating myself from the rest of them, and I'm going to show that. You know what I mean? And obviously that's pretty much what I went and showed. And that's no a discredit to Zombie. That's not me disrespecting him. It was just where I was at, and yeah, man, I did what I said I was going to do. You know what I mean? Like, I just think I work too hard. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to get better, and everyone's starting to see that now. So it's all going well, and obviously it's tough. I don't think anyone's really done that to him before. Made him look like that. So again, that's what I wanted to show. I wanted to show that I'm on a whole nother level, and I think we accomplished that.
I would say so. I mean, you just had some phenomenal strikes. You looked extremely focused during that fight. And also, I mean, you look in tremendous shape. Didn't look like you really got tired at all.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of known for that cardio. Like, obviously I work hard, and I never go under prepared. It doesn't matter who's in front of me. It doesn't matter how I think a fight's going to go. Even if I think I'll be on a whole nother level like I did, and even if I thought I was going to put him away even earlier than I did, I was still prepared for a 5-round war. I'm always preparing myself for the worst. You know what I mean. That's why we do them training sessions. Fight gone bad and all that type of stuff. They go to breaking point. We like to put ourselves there just in case we get there. You know what I mean? So that's what we're all about. So I'm always going to go in prepared, and yeah, man, I could have won another 10 rounds if I had to.
It certainly looked that way. And man, phenomenal fight. It was fun to watch. What does a victory tour entail?
Oh, just more like a media sort of tour. So I'm, in New York doing a heap of media, and same in LA. Just going and watching a few games as well. So went to the Yankees game, and we're going to the Kings game tomorrow. So just man, just going out and again doing the media tour, and just soaking it all up, and at the same time, capitalizing on a big victory and things like that. And while there's still that little bit of hype, just making sure we're getting in the front of the camera and keep the ball rolling. You know what I mean? So something that we really haven't had a chance to do lately because of the lockdowns and COVID and all that type of stuff. But it's beauty that I don't have to go home and do the quarantine. I can go straight home. So we thought, rather doing 2 weeks in quarantine, because I don't have to do that, why don't we do a week, stay a week, do that little victory media tour, and make the most of being out here. And again, back home, obviously the support is incredible, but I want to be out and about here in America, and just be in the public eye. Be in everyone's stay in their face. After the fight, I want to stay around and keep that hype rolling.
I love it.
Oh, man. No, I'm curious. How did you have to adjust your training regimen and your kind of schedule when the pandemic came, and you're preparing for these fights? Still, did you have to make some adjustments during your camps, or?
Yeah, we did. We did have to make some adjustments. Obviously, we had an exemption, so we weren't allowed to train. So we had to get an exemption to train in our gym. And what we did, most lockdowns, the last one was okay. We had normal classes, which was good. But I sort of did the same thing. We sort of during COVID, I sort of created a cool little thing that we did. Like our schedule was pretty cool. We would get a few guys that'll come. Usually, I go to Thailand or City Kickbox, and I'll do a week or two here and there. But I always based out of Freestyle Fighter Gym in Australia. But because we weren't allowed to go out and about, I just bring as many good fighters from my area, Australian fighters. Like we had guys like Trent Gurdon, Josh Coolabau, Jamie Malarkey. Just a few guys like that. Just name a few. And they would come to our gym and just do the camp with me. So it was pretty good. So it was good to have a schedule specific for my camp and have the guys helping out. So we've had great camps over those 2 years of being in lockdown, but obviously it was difficult in ways and different. But I mean, at the same time, preparation was all good. Preparation was incredible, really. So we even keeping that ball rolling the same. You know what I mean? We're not changing too much. So obviously, it was working good. You're seeing improvements. So if it ain't broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, and I always think you some time to kind of refocus and kind of optimize your training and kind of create that system you were talking about. So it's good you got an opportunity to kind of look that over and do that. And then for this camp, you already had that down. There's no restrictions, but you did have a change in this camp because you originally had a scheduled opponent and then a change. So how do you go about making that adjustment to your camps when there's an opponent change?
Well, the change in opponent didn't change before camp started, really, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Obviously, I had
Yeah.
Max. It was meant to be Max, and then pretty much 8 weeks out, or 8 9 weeks out, we knew about Zombie. So and everyone knew about Zombie, so that wasn't too bad. We didn't have to change too much, because again, 8 weeks is where I structure my camp. If I
Mhm.
know, I usually know who I'm fighting a bit earlier, so I'm still doing a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm obviously training for that certain someone, but I mean, 8 weeks is more than enough to get me prepared. So it wasn't too bad. I didn't have to change too much, which was good. But yeah, we just got to make sure we get fit. And a lot of these guys, as I say, a lot of these guys that are going to be in front of me, I think my style really works well with majority of the fighters. So as long as I'm doing my thing and getting fit, I can cover a lot of ground. Even if there's a late replacement, I think my style really covers that if that ever happens so close to a fight. I think I have the right style and I adapt really well. So I think it wouldn't phase me too much if there was a late replacement.
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and clearly you showed that you're prepared for anybody. I mean, you're the champion for a reason. And was there a preference um, in opponents? Would you have rather fought Max for for another time, or were you okay with this fight change? Considering the circumstances around it, was a part of you still wanting to have that extra fight with Max?
Well, look, to be honest, that it seemed like that Max fight was a little rushed. Like I didn't even know if he agreed to the fight and all that. The way it all happened was a little weird. So I found out about it the next day. There was an injury, and I was just like, oh, this it was just weird. So I wasn't too bad, and at least I got to tick a name off the list that I've always wanted to fight in Zombie because he's a legend of this division in this sport. So it's a name that I always expected to fight. I always thought I would eventually fight him. So it was good to have that. And if that Max trilogy happens, that'd be good in Australia. And I think having that third one in Australia, in my hometown. I've done it elsewhere. The other two times I have it in my hometown would be pretty incredible. So it's probably worked out for the best anyway. So we'll see. I don't want the trilogy to be rushed. You know what I mean? So let's do it properly, and make sure we've got a good crowd, an Aussie crowd, and yeah, and then really put on a show if that fight's going to happen. But right now we don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know his case, what's with his injury or what situation he's in. We're obviously talking about different fights as well, like in lightweight division, and there's a few options. I don't even know if they can come to Australia in the soon. They were looking mid-year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see what happens.
I just saw the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I cut you off. You're all good, Kyra. Sorry about that.
I think they just lifted travel restrictions. I believe I saw in Australia.
Yeah, look, Australia, it is all right. Like we're like international flights are all good. There's no quarantines and things like that. That's why I'm surprised. I know the UFC were looking to go there, but then Dana White in the press conference was saying he doesn't think it's going to go there because of these problems. And so I need to have that chat with the UFC, with the matchmakers and Dana and our management. We'll see if we can get over the line. But I mean, if it doesn't, hopefully soon. Because I know they were looking to do it. Around August or something. They're definitely looking into that. But yeah, we don't know. So I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't.
Sure. Who would you love to fight next, or are there some different fighters that you think you would match up great against, and anyone that you have in mind?
The lightweight title looks good. Going that double champ status would be pretty incredible. I think it's definitely gonna happen soon. Whether it happens next fight, I don't know, but I'm gonna push for it. See if the timing works. So. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm eyeing off. I think I'm in a position where I can do that. I haven't asked for it till now. So, I wanted to wait till you at least earned a shot at that. You know what I mean? I don't think, you see a lot of people, they get the title once. They get the title and they're already trying to get double champ status. I've defended 3 times. I've had 4 title fights. I've won them all. So I'm in a position where I feel like I can see what options I have and maybe do the double champ status. And that's we'll see what happens.
How do you feel like because I know you've competed at 155 before, but how do you feel now at this point in career, making that adjustment from 145 to 155? Is that something that is concerning? Because I know at one point you're was it 220 pounds as a rugby player, so I know you can bulk up. I've seen you getting swollen, and you're clearly strong for 145. So I see you, doing well and taking the 155-pound belt. But what are your concerns? Do you have any concerns on moving up, or is it just another thing on the checklist to do?
Yeah, man, I don't have any problems with it. To be honest, I'm very strong for my weight. I'm very strong for a featherweight. As you said, I used to be 214 pounds. I fought at middleweight. I've had like 4 or 5 fights at middleweight. I'm undefeated middleweight. I fought at welterweight, fought a lot of fights at welterweight. I fought a few fights at lightweight and obviously a heap at featherweight. But I mean, most of my training partners are usually lightweights or welterweights even, you know what I mean? So obviously I have featherweight training partners as well. But a lot of them are usually bigger than me. And I hold my own, and more than hold my own. So a lot of people, that's something that I don't need to worry about moving up, is the strength side of things. Usually that's a big problem for people that want to go double champ, that power and strength factor, where people, the weight, being the weight and stronger and, not being used to these type of guys. I'm used to that. I'm used to even bigger boys. So the lightweights don't scare me when it comes to that. I know I'll handle myself more than okay. And man, I'm not just planning a fight for the a lot of people thinking, oh yeah, cool, just go tick a goal off the list is just fight for the lightweight. No, I plan on getting that belt and then defending the belt in both divisions for a very long time. That's where I see myself, and it won't surprise me. Again, I'm not the type to be cocky or and toot my own horn, but at the same time, very confident. And I've this isn't unfamiliar territories for me. Like I said, I've fought very high level lightweights, very high level welterweights, and strength is not an issue. And obviously size isn't either because everyone's taller than me, so it's all good.
The reach doesn't matter anyway, right? Yeah. No, I mean, so what do you think about MRI and what we're doing for fighters? Let's take a turn on that. As you've seen, we were talking about a little bit earlier, the bonuses that we're giving away. Just overall, MRI's mission. What is your take on it? What are your thoughts?
It's incredible. You know what I mean? It really is, and obviously it's appreciated not only from like us, like at the highest level and champs and all that. This goes way, well down there, like you know what I mean, and looking after athletes coming up in that as well, and even just working with you guys and trying to shed even more light, even though everyone is well aware of it. I actually heard about Marshall Inu from I think he did my content. This was a while ago, and when it first came through, and he was telling me all about it. He goes, "Oh, you got to work with him," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and then I looked into it straight away, and you know what I mean, and just the hype around it, and everyone knows it's such a good cause and like what they're doing, and we're obviously mixed martial arts. We all know it's not the most financially forgiving. So to be able to do something like this, it's unreal. And obviously, again, we really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I know you're in a different position now, but how impactful do you think MRI is making on fighters that are just kind of coming up? They're not even in the UFC yet. They're just kind of trying to step some sponsorship money together, do whatever. What do you think about that? And do you have any stories of when you were an up and comer and some of the struggles that you had to go through to fight your way up?
Well, man, it is a struggle, and I've been there. Like you know what I mean. Like just because where I'm at now, like it was a real struggle. And I've talked about this a lot, coming up, and it's especially you want to chase a dream, and it's chasing a dream. Sometimes you need to really put life on hold to chase that dream, and whether it's sponsorship money, and each dollar goes a long way, especially when you're chasing that dream. So to have something like this it's just incredible, and even even that just even being in the UFC and like trying to climb through the ranks and all that type of stuff, it's still tough. Training camps aren't easy. You know what I mean? And it's not cheap. You know what I mean? Like it's tough. So it really does help, and even just having for some people, obviously, that hope of like, oh yeah, like this is something that could work in my favor, like give them that little bit more confidence to chase the dream because of opportunities like that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're sitting there and you're weighing, do I want to take this on or do I just keep doing what I'm doing? You know what I mean? And like, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, I believe I can, but I mean, I need to pay these bills soon. You know what I mean? Do I just give up and then just go back to concreting like I used to do concreting? They'll be like, going, you know what? Nah, I'm going to chase this dream. I've got opportunities. These are sponsorship. I got like Marshall, like little things like that that can that little bit of hope to let me chase that dream, and not only the helping, but I mean just that hope can go a long way too.
Absolutely. And do you have any stories from when you were up and coming? That you could think of that you were just trying to put something together, maybe medicals or maybe something for a fight camp you're trying to put together, but you had some issues while you were coming up.
Oh man, there was one where I was at the lowest point of my career, uh, and there was this time I was chasing the dream, trying to get in the UFC, and obviously again we put our life on hold, chasing the dream, and it was dragging on. I was like this close to being in the UFC, and it wasn't happening. I was doing everything right. I had all these knockouts. I was undefeated in my division. I had like 12 fight wins or more or something. 12 fight win streak. You name it. I was doing everything right. A lot of hype around me, but it just wasn't happening. And I was struggling. I had I made a promise to myself that I'll be in the UFC before I had Ariana, my firstborn daughter, and that didn't happen. So that hurt me a lot. And then I need to look after my family. So it was at a point where I was like, what do I do here? And I was lucky enough to have a sponsor where I literally, the lowest point of my life, I remember not rocking up to the gym one day because I was like, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this, man. It was just a bit of a moment. And then I was like, obviously I went back to the gym, but like, all right, no, don't. But this is where I was at. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Yeah.
where I was at. And then a major sponsor at the time, ended up contacting me and gave me like a sponsorship. And like, and that was, I went from the lowest point to one of my highest. It was a major sponsor, made me be like, I can commit to this. As I said, that hope to keep going forward, that now I can commit to this sport even more. You know what I mean? And give it my all, you know what I mean? And have a little bit of a backing behind me. And then I think it was like probably the week after that, I got the UFC contract. So I went from the lowest point of my career to just bang, bang, you know what I mean? And so it just shows you that, again, money isn't everything, but it goes a long way, man. You know what I mean? It definitely helps, especially while you're chasing that dream. So, that's a little story of mine, and it means a lot to me because that was a situation. Not only, I mean, a lot of fighters are probably in that situation as well.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that I could just take one sponsor, one local business, or one person just to step up and be like, hey man, I believe in your dream, I support you, help out, I believe in you, to change from the lowest point in your life to where you're not sure, you're at this point, you had a lot of hype around you, a lot of people believed in you, this and that, and you're on the edge mentally thinking, hey, I don't know what I want, if I want to do this anymore, just because of the risk versus reward. And then one person, one action is all it takes to streamline a process, and now, into multiple things that happen, and now you're the champion of the world. So it's just crazy how one small thing, and while yes, it's financial, still it's one small action that can just snowball into something great. And I think, Marshall Emu is going to be creating a lot of these stories. I mean, we just started, but at the same time, how many future champions did we just support that have that dream and we supported? We don't know at this point. So, this is why I'm excited about the project. And hearing your story just really gives a lot of perspective on where a lot of fighters are at in their careers. Because on the outside, it could be looking good. You think they're out there getting knockouts, they're on UFC Fight Pass, or they're on TV, they're doing this. A lot of people think that they're on this fast track way to the UFC, to a championship, but they might be 1 week away with not getting paid from a client or from work for being out of commission, being out of the gym for a couple months, and then them setting back their careers. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go on when you're coming up, and I appreciate you sharing that with us about your experience going through that, and how sponsors and sponsorship and people helping out fighters can make a difference like that. So what do you see next as far as Marshall Inu? What would you also like to see from a project that wants to help and support fighters, right? They're doing it financially already. They've given millions of dollars out to fighters. What do you think is something else that Marshall Inu could do to help fighters?
Man, I think I think they're doing a great job already. You know what I mean? And what they're doing, like I said, to support uh, exactly what we're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keep doing what you're doing, and I love that there's a bit of focus on the up and comers as well, because they got no idea. Like, I know so many talented fighters that ended up giving it up because they had to get that, the real job or whatever it is. The amount of talented athletes I've seen that couldn't chase the dream because they didn't have that backing, you know what I mean, or anything like that, and or didn't have that hope that I was talking about. They're just like, they're trying to weigh their options, and they look at it as like, nah, I can't do it. I can't wait 2-3 years to get in the UFC. But I mean, like, now they can have that option. Was like, yeah, but I might get a little bit of a backing from a sponsor, from or something, you know what I mean, and then that'll be like, what, there's a couple of other opportunities that will help me keep chasing this dream till I get there. It might make that decision a lot easier. And like I said, they're doing a great job. I wouldn't say, I'm sure, I wouldn't try and tell them what to do, because they're doing a great job, and I didn't think about it in the first place. So they know what they're doing, and I'll leave it up to them.
But you've seen that personally happen to, I don't know, for any of your teammates, but I'm sure throughout the you've seen that where fighters have gone and kind of been through that breaking point, and you see fighters come and go all the time, and a lot of them have potential. Like, wow, this guy could be a world champion, but his outside life, there's certain things that are not there yet. Or so you're saying you've seen that personally happen. I don't know if in your gym or whatever, but I don't know if you mind sharing any kind of story without giving out any information on somebody on something you've seen like that.
I mean, it's just a lot of them, plenty of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you might look at things and be like, it's still early days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you see the right tools. For me, it's so much more than just skill. But I mean, sometimes you can see people that are, they pick up things so quickly, and they've got the heart, they've got the work ethic, the discipline, and they tick all the goals, you know what I mean? And then they've got the skill and they pick up things quickly on top of that. And you know that anything they want to do that, you know, is achievable for them. You know what I mean? Just because of their mentality and things like that. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what got me to where I am. So I see that a lot. Like, I mean, I couldn't tell you any names, but I mean, there's plenty of people that I see all the time that, you know, they still might come in and might be a bit of a hobby, but they can't commit to it because you know, they want to keep doing what they're doing. You know what I mean, and pay them bills.
You got to think, you got, and when you're at the point that you shared with me, you had your a child on the way, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's something as well. You have kids on the friends pulling you one direction, your parents are pulling you another direction, your friends are telling you, oh, no, do this, oh, teach instead. Yeah, you're going to have a million reasons why not to keep on doing it and continuing to do it. And obviously, the champions, the ones that make where have those options, like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to do it anyway. But again, that backing from that believes in you is going to take the weight of, oh, hey, you tell your girlfriend, don't worry, the bills are covered this month. We don't have to worry about that. So get where, they would have had to stand in a cage, in a couple of days, and now they're dealing with all these outside problems as well. So, yeah, the sponsorship doesn't just help cover some of the direct costs of leading up to the fight, but even just taking care of some outside stress that's going to distract you from the main goal of leading up to that fight. So, no, I completely agree. So, what do you think is next for fighters, receiving sponsorships like this? Um, that's just something that's kind of challenge is fighters being sponsored in crypto. What's your thoughts on cryptocurrency and how it's being utilized and its utility of certain coins like this?
But it's incredible, and it's a blowout. Like, you know, like a lot of the stuff that you hear about, because I don't go right into it, but I know enough, and it's incredible, man. Like, it's the way everything's sort of moving as well, man. Like, you know what I mean. So you're seeing it everywhere, and you know, it's just like I said, I don't know enough to sort of break down exactly how everything works, but to have even little things like that, like where we talk about having backing and all that type of stuff, and what you guys are doing, but investing and all that, you know what I mean, and then having you guys and having podcasts about this sort of stuff as well, and get a real understanding of it. And you know, I'm backing you guys. There's a lot of us backing you guys. We're trying to shed light on this, and these fighters, you know, they're probably aware of this, and you know, they might be like, if they got a few coins here and there or something like that, they might want to, you know, you would think that they want to invest. Like, you know, for me, I can see a lot of potential in certain things, and I feel like if I throw in as well, like that could be another little bit of an investment, because as you get older, I never knew nothing about investments that are going down, but you got to be smart with your money. The money that you make, obviously, you need to take care of your family, and you know, whatever money you do come, investing is a big key to things. So, you know, try and do your research. You know what I mean? That's what I'll say. Do your research. You know, find out what you think will work, and get into it. But like I said, you know, obviously I'm working with you guys, but at the same time, you're doing the right thing. And I heard about you guys before, before we started like a sort of working together, and you know, that's saying something. You know what I mean? So you're doing something right. And again, like I think you guys are even going to be bringing a lot of these fighters that probably had no idea about crypto or anything like that. Now they're going to be starting to get understand and be like, you know what? I might have a look at this. Investment might be the way to go.
Well, that's certainly our hope, and you know, we hope we can expand education even about crypto through fighters to help them out there. We had a question from one of the community members. They said, I've seen a few mentions of you potentially being the featherweight GOAT of all time. Do you feel you are there yet? And if not, or what else would you want to really lock that in, or who would you have to face to make that happen?
Oh, look, I've already faced the guys that, you know, obviously that means something. Like they're all going to mean, every defense is going to mean a lot. But I mean, it comes down to defenses, and you know, I'm not in the position to say if I'm GOAT or whatever it is, but I don't claim to be GOAT. I look at Aldo as a GOAT because he defended for a long time. So you've got to give him that respect when you're undefeated for so long in a division as champion. That's really saying something. Do I think I need that many defenses? Probably not, but I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll leave that up to everyone else to see if I'm the GOAT or not. You know what I mean? But you know, obviously, I'm on my way to being something great. So you know what I mean. I'll just leave the GOAT conversations for everyone else.
Certainly. I like the humility too. That's good. People appreciate that. They relate with it, you know, and you just let your actions and your fights speak for you. Now, when you're talking about, you know, getting a title in another division, you're 33, correct?
33 years.
Do you feel like I mean, you know, you've had an amazing career up to this date, but you have these other goals. Would you say that you're you know, just getting started and you're going to go after these other divisions?
Oh, I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not going to say I'm just getting started. But I mean, I'm at my peak right now. I've definitely got a few good years in me, and you can accomplish a lot, especially if you've been as active as I want to be. And you know, I mean, I'm planning on having 3 fights this year, and then you're talking about there's go conversations and pound for pounds and all that type of stuff. You know, 3 more victories this year, and then you're really, you know what I mean? Or 2 more victories this year, like you're really doing something. So, you know what I mean? And again, I want to stay active. So I believe I can tick a lot of these goals and these, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, yeah, these statuses I want, GOAT statuses and all that type of stuff that you're chasing. You know, I've got plenty of time to do that because I'm going to be active. I plan on doing that soon. But, you know, man, I think yeah, like I just think I'm in a pretty good position. Again, I'm telling you guys and I'm telling everyone now, I'm getting better every time I step in the cage. I want to be better. You know what I mean? I got that drive to be better even though now I feel like I'm on the top. I want to be better next time I step in that octagon because I know the guys. You know, I'm probably motivating some of these contenders now. You know what I mean? In whatever division, even the lightweights, everyone watching, you know, I'm probably, you know what, this guy's got the right mentality. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to raise the bar. So I'm going to make sure I'm raising the bar with him because I want to be a step ahead forever.
I love that. Just staying in the lead. Now, a few, I think, reporters had mentioned Conor McGregor and just a potential fight there. What are your thoughts on that? And is that a fight that you would like to take?
Yeah, of course. You know, you talk about legacies and, you know, GOATs statuses. And, you know, I've taken out every other champ in my division except for Conor. Conor's been a champ. So, you know, that would really, obviously, you're talking money and you're talking like, you know, the circus and all that type of stuff that comes with fighting Conor. But I mean, not just that. He's another champion of my division. You know, we talk about, you know, getting that GOAT status in my division. You take out all the champions, I don't think much people can argue with it. Again, I'm not going to be the one saying I'm the GOAT, but I'm sure you guys listening, if I was to take out all 3 champions plus a few other defenses, I don't think that leaves any doubt in anyone's mind. But, you know, again, I'll just leave that all up to you guys. But, yeah, that fight would be great.
I think it'd be a phenomenal fight. And I know a lot of people would love to see it. A lot of striking. It'd be a great one. Has he said anything about it to anyone or wanting to take that fight?
I haven't heard nothing now. Like I haven't looked. I don't know. Usually does some tweets or something, but I'm sure you guys probably would have asked me about it if that happened. But nah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know if it's a fight that he would want. You know, I don't think many people would find a fight with me would be fun. Obviously, we've you know, knowing that I'm pretty durable, disciplined, I'm fit, I'm good, skillful. You know what I mean? I cover a lot of ground, and I think I'm a tough fight for anybody. So I don't think I'm going to get called out by just everyone especially people out of my division. Obviously, you've got contenders that are doesn't matter who's holding that belt, they want that belt, they're going to fight you whether they think they're going to win or lose. They're going to want at least a shot. So the only people that are going to be calling me out are probably going to be these contenders that think they're ready. But other than that, having a fight with me as a money fight, they're probably looking at it like, man, that's a tough fight. You know what I mean? I could probably fight someone else and not have to worry about getting my ass beat. So I don't know how they're looking at it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think if you're trying to talk, Brandon, I'm not hearing you, brother. That I laughed when you said it wouldn't be fun against you, and I mean, it's true. It's fun to watch, but man, if they're going to step in the ring against you, they're going to have a handful, and you just come out so fierce. And Zombie, it seemed like to me after about the first round, especially after the second, he just kind of had this dazed look on his face. Mm-hmm. And I think it looked like the ref basically called it because, something just didn't look right. Like, I'm sure they're worried about brain damage. When he was kind of knelt over and just on the mat after, it looked like he had a lot of emotions going on through his head as he just kind of sat there. Did you talk to him about it, or you kind of wonder what was going through his head there?
I didn't talk about it, but I mean, that's what you're saying is right. Like when I'm talking about it, it's not fun to fight me. When I say that, it's like, yeah, obviously you're getting punched in the face, getting kicked and all that. Yeah, it's going to hurt, but not just that. The puzzle that you're putting in front of them, the way you're scrambling their brain, the panic, the stress that is happening while they're trying to figure out what's going on and thinking, oh, I'm going to do this, and then getting copping a punch in the face for it. You know what I mean? Like trying to catch up to what I'm to that puzzle in front of them. You know what I mean? It's stressful. It's hard on them. It's not fun, mentally and physically. So, and you can see that, and that's exactly what I believe you've seen. That was a man that looked defeated, as well as obviously copping a lot of damage. So that's why Herb definitely stopped it. He's seen that there's no real way of Zombie winning from here. He's just too tough for his own good. I better stop it before this guy has real problems. Again, we want these fighters going back home to their families healthy. And I'm glad Herb stopped it when he did, because I didn't want him to take any more unnecessary damage. Like, again, I think he knew that it was over and that he was defeated, so he wasn't going to argue with it. And I think everyone else did watching. So I think that's why a lot of people are very happy with the stoppage. Whether it wasn't going to be at the end or in between the round, like, I'm glad he did it. As soon as he seen me land a couple of shots, all right, it's going exactly how these other rounds are going. Let's just stop it here before it's too late.
Yeah, I think it was a good call because I think he was about to legitimately get knocked out if they didn't call that. And every time you get struck in the head that hard, there is obviously risk of brain damage. Afterwards, is it pretty standard protocol? Do they do like CT scans or like a MRI or something of the brain to make sure everything's okay?
Oh, look, obviously when you see a fighter take that much damage, they're going to take you to the hospital. Even if you're not concussed, they'll still take you there and get a proper checkup. And so they should. Again, even if a fighter feels fine and says he's okay, again, let's get home to our families safely. Let's make sure that there's no damage in there that we don't know about. Yeah, that you can't physically see. You might need to go get the scans and talk to the right people and let them make that decision, not just think you're okay. And because fighters are going to tell you they're okay, I'm all good, no worries, because we're warriors. So, but I mean, at the same time, if you it's a sport. It is a sport, and I want people to treat it as a sport and respect their body and their brain, and then look after yourself. So the UFC respect that as well. So they're always making sure the fighters are as safe as they can be. So usually after the fight, Dana and the guys will be like, get him straight to the hospital. After my last two fights, Ortega and Zombie, I think he told them, go straight to the hospital. I need you to get checked up.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad they make that a priority, because a little bit of intervention or just knowing, can really, extend a person's career and everything. What was your favorite moment of that fight, or at what point did you know inside, man, I got this one in the bag?
Well, I mean, look, you never, even though I knew pretty early that I was I was going to make it a long night for him, and I knew that I was a lot faster and better, and I had him figured out pretty much straight away. But I mean, obviously, you're still going to, he can still land that lucky punch or one punch, so you got to be careful. But pretty much since the first jab he threw, I was, well aware that I was a lot faster and a lot more on the ball than he was. I mean, his decision to throw that jab where he thought that was the right time, right distance, right speed. You know what I mean? Like he made that decision to throw. Obviously, like that wasn't a fake, that wasn't a feint. It was a jab that he thought he was going to land, and so I knew from then that like he doesn't. Yeah, this is going to be a long night for him. So pretty much from the first jab he threw.
Sure, that's man. I cannot wait to watch your next fight. And some people are asking, do you think that Henry Cejudo, I believe I said his name right, I butcher names, is he
Cejudo,
worthy?
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about fighting him? And people are saying that they want to see a fight in a matchup. What are your thoughts there?
Oh, but his name's coming up a fair bit. I mean, I don't mind the guy. He's done some great things in obviously featherweight, flyweight and bantamweight, and Olympian gold medalist and things like that. So he's accomplished a lot, and I've got respect for him. But I mean, at the same time, like I want to take the contender serious. You know what I mean? Like there's no point wasting too much time until he shows me something. I think he did go in the testing pool, which is definitely an improvement from where he was when he was calling us out when he wasn't even in the testing pool. Demanding he wanted to be the replacement fighter for Max when he literally couldn't. So like he couldn't because he wasn't in the testing pool. And when you're in the testing pool, you need to wait 6 months. So he knew he couldn't, yet he was still, So how do you take someone serious when they're just trying to throw their name in there to get people talking about them? You know what I mean? So it was hard to take him serious, but now he's supposed to be in the testing pool. So I will take it a little serious. But at the same time, it doesn't mean I'm taking him as a title fight right now serious, because, again, show me something in my division. I think he's in a position where he could fight maybe a contender and get a title shot straight after that. But you don't just walk in out of retirement and get a title shot in a featherweight division when you've never fought there. Again, after being retired for so long, that'd be very unfair, and that's not what I'm all about.
Sure. So it would take some time. This waiting period has to go down for that to even be a possibility.
Oh, exactly right. So that's why it's hard. Like I know people want to talk about it, but I mean, I'm not going to waste energy on it because that's how this system works. He has to wait 6 months before he's even eligible to fight, and so it's just again, good on him. But I mean, at the same time, I'll just keep doing my thing, and then when he starts proving himself, like I said, whether it is getting close to that 6 month and he's getting getting a fight with someone and showing that he wants to be a top contender and wants that number one spot, then I'll really take him serious.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, he definitely kind of called you out, and I mean that seems to be a big part of MMA, specifically within the UFC. There's some people who love to talk smack and call people out, and then there's guys like you who are more humble in the fact you're going to focus on your training and you're just going to show up and dominate. I personally like the more humble guys that show up and just perform. But yeah, we were just wondering if he was serious or not. So I guess
Yeah.
you were as well.
Yeah. Well, mate, we need all of them in this sport. You can't just have everyone being respectful. You're going to need them trash talkers. You're going to need all different types of characters, because you want unique characters. But I mean, if everyone was just doing the same thing and everyone talking trash, and you know what I mean, it'd be boring. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you appreciate someone when everyone's just doing the same thing, everyone's copying the same blueprint? It just doesn't make sense. Having different characters and having different they're different characters, you know what I mean, and people being unique in their own ways. It's pretty good, and that's what's exciting. Because again, like you said, there's a lot of people out there that appreciate a nice, humble, respectful champion. You know what I mean? So, and that goes out there and lets his fist do the talking. You know what I mean? Obviously, we are going to all talk. We are going to do our thing. But at the same time, this is what really counts. People can be good at trash talking, but if you can't throw these, no one's talking about you anyway.
I love it. And yeah, I resonate and respect that. And a lot of people do. Are there any specific facets within MMA, for example, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or any certain types of martial arts or different skills that you're really training in specifically or want to level up in?
Just everything, man. Just keep raising the bar in all levels of that, all aspects of this sport. Because I can be better. Again, I have that drive to be better, whether it's mentally, in and out of that cage in the training room. But I mean, in that training room, you got all aspects of the game, MMA in general as well. I want to improve everything. I want to blend it together. I want to be able to blend the things together. I want to, everything, man. Like again, I don't want to focus on one thing. I want to, while I've got this time till the next fight, I want to improve everywhere. I want the next time you see me step in there, I want you guys saying the same thing as you did after. So, man, look how much he's improved. I want that conversation to happen every time I step in that octagon, which isn't easy, but that's what I plan on doing. If you have the drive I do, and and you have that work ethic I do and the discipline that I do, we can keep achieving that. And then you do that, you're going to be unstoppable, and that's what I plan on being. I want to be unstoppable until it's time to give it all up and have a legacy to really look after my family forever for. You know what I mean? So that's my goals.
Awesome, man. Hey, is there any quantitative number or a specific area where you define as like, okay, this is my goal, this is where I want to be, and I'm done? Or are you just gonna keep skyrocketing until you burn out? What's the plan?
Yeah, man. Like I think you need to listen to your body, and as I said to you guys, and I've made it pretty clear with leading into this fight about raising the bar, getting better. If I see that bar start to decline, you know what I mean, that's when I'm going to start really having a good look at it. Even if the money's good, I'm a pretty competitive person. But I mean, if I start, lowering the bar and then people are starting to take over, you know what I mean, I'm definitely going to have a good hard look at my career, and hopefully I've made enough money by then to not have to worry about it. But again, it's just all about being successful as well. Just again, we're only in this sport for a very small time. So, you need to capitalize on this short time that we have in here and do the most we can.
Absolutely. And is there any other particular fights that entertain you, or are you just currently right now just all challengers, all contenders, and then the 155 division? Is that where you're focused at right now?
I've got a few options, like I said, but the next one, I'd love for that lightweight title because I think the timing works. They're fighting next month or soon, sorry, not even like in a few weeks. So I think it's a very doable. So that's something that I would love. Obviously, that's a fight I would love.
Awesome. And how will that weight transition be? I know we talked about it earlier, how you feel strong. I mean, you're used to fighting longer guys than you with longer reach, so that's not going to change. Do you feel anything is going to change with your training, your diet, your routine, in that sense, for this new weight division?
No, like I'm going to pretty much be similar weight. You know what I mean? I won't have to cut as much, but I don't want to be too much heavier. I'm going to be at a comfortable weight, which is going to be within the 2-3 kilos of what I normally am anyway. I don't think I'm going to change much. I'll just make sure I'm holding the muscle I have now. I'm not going to worry about trying to put on more muscle. But I just want to be where I'm most comfortable, and this weight I'm most comfortable at. So I'll just fight lightweight that weight. So and then, like I said, if I'm going to do both divisions, it's going to be easy to do both while you're, not trying to put on muscle for one and trying to lose it for the other.
Everything goes your way. You have the 55 belt. You're going to try to defend both divisions at the same time actively. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's going to be, we haven't seen too many people actively do that. We've had people attempt, we've had people move up, win 2 belts, but when it comes to defending both divisions, not too many have really had much success with that. So, here at Martial India, we definitely wish you the best with that, and we always support you with that journey. Man, I believe that's a great goal to head at, and that's something very ambitious that not many people in the history of the sport has done. So that's something that'll definitely, I would say at least, solidify legacy in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, definitely. You're right, because you don't get too many people that are doing that. A lot of people just want to get that second belt and say, I'm a double champ. But, again, I don't like holding divisions. I want to be, I want to keep all the divisions rolling, whatever divisions I'm in.
I do have one last question here. Can you talk about the transition from playing rugby and what made you want to fight in the UFC, and how did you make that transition?
I've just always loved this sport, man. I've always loved martial arts. The transition wasn't too bad because my last year of football, I was doing a bit of training, and I actually was fighting as well. So I went to MMA gym, the same MMA gym I am today, small gym in a small town, and I went there and just was training as pre-season in between my seasons of the rugby league. I wanted to keep fit, so I did that and took a liking to it again. I've always loved the sport and always wanted to do it, and I was reasonably good at it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a few fights this year. So while I was playing rugby league, I was concreting, playing rugby league and fighting all in the same year. So it was a busy year for me, but I mean, that was how the transition happened. It just, took time. But that year, I halfway through, after a couple of big wins, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this serious. I'm going to take this fighting thing for real. MMA gig. Let's go on full steam ahead and see how we can go. And best decision I ever made.
Oh my gosh, it's just wild to me hearing that story, because you're clearly one of the best champions that has ever been in MMA and the UFC. So it's just crazy to think, had you not made that decision, it's I don't know, it's just shocking, because that's what I love about the sport is, it's like you get these people from all different backgrounds and people that just say, hey, I'm going to try this out or something, and they're just champions. So I think that just goes to show how young the sport is still. And, of course, I look for it to grow worldwide. Is Australia a pretty MMA focused and dominant culture? I'm from the United States, so we fucking love it here. But would you say that Australia is the same way?
Yeah, well, it's grown so much. When I first got into it, it wasn't as popular as it is now. But I mean, it's taken over. You're getting a lot of young, talented athletes, starting MMA now. You know what I mean? It's a sport that they're growing up training, which I started with. This is something as well that people watching want to give it a crack. I started training MMA at 22 years old. You know what I mean? So I've only been in this sport for just over 10 years or 11 years, I think it is. And I started very late.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's, it's pretty crazy when you look at it that way. But I mean, man, it is growing in Australia. And, we've got so many athletically gifted kids that are training MMA at a young age rather than, coming in later in life. So it's pretty good to see, because I'm expecting big things from people down at Australia, New Zealand sort of area, the Anzac area.
Well, sure, and I mean, it's like growing up. I'm 31, so growing up, you're 33. I remember it was like in my late teens, probably started watching it, but it wasn't as big of a sport as it is now. So there's a lot of kids, obviously, that are inspired by the greats like you. So it's going to be exciting just to see it grow. And I I apologize. I said one last question. I do just have one more, and then we'll let you go. I appreciate your time. Do you think that MMA will become an Olympic sport?
Will it become an Olympic sport? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I mean, I know it's if it's I know it's up there anyhow as one of the biggest sports in the world. But it is growing and growing, and I believe it's going to be one of the biggest sports in the world soon. So I don't know where they rank MMA in the world, but I'd say it's up there. But I mean, it is definitely growing. Whether it will be an Olympic sport, I'm not sure. Hope so. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly should be. As this the amount of discipline and variety of different fighting styles that you have to learn. Of course, in the Olympics, got things like wrestling, and judo, and these things. But I would love to see it be there, and I think it should be. Did you have any final thoughts or statements or anything you wanted to say?
Nah, just again, thank you guys for the support and keep doing what you're doing. Again, it's not going unnoticed, and not only myself, but I'm sure a lot of the people watching and in this MMA business really appreciate what you're doing. So keep doing what you're doing, legends.
Hey, that's thank you for saying that. It's humbling, and it's an honor just to be able to speak with you. So congrats again, and I know we're all across the world looking forward to you grabbing that title in a different division and then defending them. It's
Double
your era.
double both shoulders. Everyone straps on both of those. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right.
Yes, sir. Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. See you later.
Bye.